hello. It's been a very, very cold morning, but looking at the sunshine, I think it's going to be a good day, which is a good day to listen to The Dragon Reborn, book 2 of Wheel of Time. Come with me as I read it. Technically, I've said this is the first time. This is a series. I'm doing a reading the Wheel of Time for the first time, but actually, I have read this book. I just bailed at book 3. Sorry, Wheel of Time fans. My friend Spencer has convinced me by just relentlessly bringing up Wheel of Time whenever he can to be like, oh, but this try, and I'm like, fuck's sake, am I gonna try again? So I'm trying again. So I'm listening to The Dragon Reborn, and here we go. I've just arrived at work, as you can see. The lovely horse box is behind me. I'm gonna go put these horses out, and I've read the prologue so far. I'm on chapter 2, but I've read the prologue, because prologue, interesting. And then what annoyed me, the man who called himself Balls, like, you said that so many times that even I noticed it on an audio. Like, could you not just cut a little bit of that down? Like, come on. Read that, or listen to that, shall I say. And that was interesting. I like that little glimpse into, like, how Balsamon people, hello. I don't know if you can see them at the back. You can't see them. I'll show you the horses in a minute. I like that little glimpse on how he, you know, what are the words I'm looking for? Haha, lovely feet. Glimpse how, you know, the Dark One, Balsamon, that kind of works. I liked that look at things. There were things that were repetitive, but it was fun. It was entertaining enough, at least. And then we come to Ram, who said at the end of Eye of the World that he was going to leave. Proves how fickle he fucking is, because he hasn't left yet. So, which is kind of like irritating and annoying, but here we are. And but what I did like is we get to see some of the Amaranth and like Tar Valon, which, not gonna lie, is like the most interesting part. And I remember liking that when I previously read it. So that's definitely a good point. So I'm enjoying it. I'm going to listen to some more while they muck all these horses out, and I will report back at another time. The horses are out. It's looking like it might be a nice day. It is still very muddy over here. And I have some thoughts. I don't know how far I am. I should probably double check it. But here we are. Basically, Moraine is talking to the Amaranth seat, which I like her. I like how the politics is kind of working with the Amaranth seat, and how they have our friendship and how they can't also show they have friendship because she's now the Amaranth. Give me 2 seconds. I have to grab this horse in. Hello, Jack. So I like how that's going. I like how things are getting tense. There's more kind of happening. I still think Robert Jordan could have written this book and Eye of the World in one. Not gonna lie, I still think that would entirely have been possible, but here we are. It's getting more interesting. Give me a second. And there is one thing that does bother me is, don't know what that was. I don't even know you hear it. Socks, come on, you're almost here. Look at him. Look. Fine. Walk through the mud. Is how the woman like treated Rand. Like, they wanted to peer in on him basically nude. Which is just weird, gives me the ick. Just gives me the ick. Okay, and I know some elderly women joke about younger men in real life, but it just gave me the ick. did give me the ick, I'm not gonna lie. But, and Socks is cool. But this is definitely getting to be more interesting than what either of was, and I'm having fun. I didn't really think much of it. I'd like to know more about like yesterday, and I don't like the fact that there's seems a little bit of cattiness in them, but other than that, it's kind of small critiques. So far, I'm having a good time. I remember why I didn't like this book now. I remember why I actually hated it. I am 44% through, and I'm not gonna lie, fucking Celine. So, let's backtrack a little bit, and we'll come to that. I like and dislike Nynaeve with her kind of reaction to other figures in power, like the Amryn seat or any other Aes Sedai, right? She's so against them, even though she's like, I have the power, I can use the power. She's still like, don't need you, I could do it, I'm fine. Which is kind of like, dude, come on, that's like not the point. So I kind of want somebody just to bitch slap Nynaeve and be like, grow the fuck up, you know, just grow up. But I am liking some of it. I liked the lesson that she had with the actual Amryn seat, which was cool. I liked how that came about. But they've just arrived in Tar Valon, and if you've seen the books, you know about this map. Who approved the map? The map. People sometimes, I think, praise Robert Jordan for his portrayal of women, which I understand where they're coming from, because at the time, like, hardly anybody had women in any kind of powerful role or anything, or there wasn't that many women written in. So for that, okay, cool, fine. Praising? No. But then he does something like this, and I'm like, who approved that? And I also know something from the later books that happens, that I know his even wife turned around and said, don't do this, and he still ignored her and did it. Somebody stole the horn thing. I don't really know what symbolism that's for. It sort of just feels like, nah, it's just there. So Rand, Matt, Perrin decided to go off and take it back. And I'm not gonna lie, which is fine. Because obviously they also took the dagger. That was it. They also took the dagger that Matt has. So he needs that to have a full healing, so he can't be with it out there for too long or he'll die, I think. Which, that's some stakes. That is some stakes. But Rand's reactions before all of this happened, Rand's reactions to Matt and Perrin to try and get them to not come with them and trying to push them away, again, it's clunky. It's very clunky. It's like, don't, like, I'm like, one, it's childish. Two, it's very, very clunky. Two, that plan's never going to work anyway. So, I don't know, it just didn't really feel like it worked very well for me. It just didn't really work. I didn't really see much point in it, to be fair. Somebody also tried to shoot at Rand, which people thought they were shooting at the Amryn seat. And she turned to look at Rand and was like, if they even tried to shoot at me? So there's that going on. We did get a scene with what I suspect is a black Ashar. Somebody who is doing things for her own gains, using power she's not meant to be using, manipulating people. She is interesting. I'm kind of sitting on the fence of, am I liking the dark side? I think I am. I think I want Balasamon to win and burn the world down. That's where I'm sitting at. I like his side. I like his characters. I like the villainous side of him. Even though we've barely met him, right? More than anything else. But the fact that there's, you know, writing on the wall in blood, we will meet at this place. I've forgotten what the place is called. Randall 4. So interesting. But let's just skip back or forward to Rand, who is insufferable. So insufferable. I do not know what possessed Robert Jordan's mind to like have Rand as his main protagonist when I cannot stand him. Like, he could die the most painful death of torture and I would be cheering the torturer on, because I cannot stand him. Matt, I can see I don't like him at the moment, but I can see where I could. So, and I've heard apparently he does get better. But Rand, I'm like, fucking hell, he's just a whiny little fucking bitch. He is just, like, everything's laid in front of him of, you can channel the one power, you are the Dragon Reborn. Moraine has given you a banner of the Dragon Reborn. And still, he doesn't want to do anything. He doesn't want to accept. He's just, no, I can't. And I'm just like, everything's laid in front, and I understand you just don't want to. This is probably what Robert Jordan's trying to do, is he doesn't want somebody to, you know, he doesn't want Rand to accept this. He wants him to sort of be running away from what his destiny is, right? But the way Robert Jordan's going about it is not cool. It just comes across as a whiny little fucking man-child. And I'm sorry, no, he can grow the fuck up. Like, I don't accept what's happening, but don't also like act like a bloody man-child. Because if you want to deny your actual destiny, what the fuck did you stay with the Aes Sedai in the first place? Why don't you just skip off? Like, actually take charge and be a man, grow some fucking balls, right? Rand manages to take Lyal and a sniffer who can sniff dark magic, I don't know, into like this stone thing, go to somewhere else, which is cool, right? And he's still denying. No. I'm like, it's still right. Anyway, they meet Celine, who this really bogged me down. It was her when I previously read this book, because how the fuck cannot 3 men see that she is sus? Like, so suspicious. One, you're going on the track and you find, following a trail, and then you find her and you don't think 2 and 2 together, right? Why is she out here on her own? But also, and this is the thing, I have a feeling Robert Jordan is trying to do that she has some kind of allure over the men. If it's just because she's a woman and pretty, I will find this book somewhere and drop kick it into the ocean. What I think is happening is he's alluding that Celine has some magic appeal, so all the men do everything she says, but they're not realizing they are. They're just assuming because she's so pretty. Like, even Rand is thinking, I love Egwene. There's no proof that he does, but whatever. Because he's also thinking about Celine, and I'm like, okay, cool, but and then she's rifling through his saddlebags, and he doesn't even think once that that's suspicious at the time. And I'm like, how can you not at the time? I understand if you want to do it like, what are you doing? That's really suspicious. That's a bit sus. And then later she starts talking and kind of, you then forget that happened. Bit weird. And her excuse, and then looking, and what is really funny though, I've always found this quite funny. She's dressed in Rand's t-shirt because her excuse was, I need to wash the dress. And even though he's never seen it as clean as anything, they are traveling on horses. Your clothes do not stay that clean. How can you not? Anyway, so, and then the sniffer comes up, and then Lyal wakes up, and the sniffer can't even look at Celine in the eye because she's wearing a shirt and showing legs. That's it, just showing legs. Which is, and I'm just like, do you know what? Yeah, okay. It kind of feels like Robert Jordan wanted to have this kind of scene put in so Rand looks like the big old lord, everybody else thinks that he's banging a girl, and it's like, will you stop? Just no, it just gives me a little bit of an ick. Okay, I'm just not gonna lie, it just does. And I just hate it so fucking much that they all just trust her blindly, and it's not done well if the intention is because she has magic, even though she denies it all. It's not done well. That's basically where I'm at. You know, you say Celine, all of that going on. They go through some other stones to get back where they're still hunting the dagger and the horn thing, but away from everybody else. And I'm just like, okay, can we move on now? Can we literally move on? Because this is why I don't like her. To be honest, I don't really like Rand's storyline, and he's meant to be the main storyline. So I don't know, I'm really enjoying the Tarvalon stuff, and anything that just isn't Rand. Don't know what that says. But anyway, I'm going to go back and listen to it again a bit more tomorrow. And then hopefully get through most of this book. If not, I'm not going to finish it tomorrow. Probably not. I don't think I am. Those are my thoughts at 44% through The Dragon Reborn. And already I just want to pull my hair out for how Celine's written. And Celine's story. I hate her so much. So much. But anyway, I'm going to catch you in the next update. I'm now 60% through and I still fucking hate Rand and I still hate Celine. I was talking to a friend and apparently my suspicions are kind of right and kind of not right about Celine. With there's some like magic around her, but also he's like, oh yeah, but it's just Rand being a like, he's never left the Two Rivers before. And now he's come across a beautiful woman and I called bullshit on that. That probably is what it was because he's read the series, but I'm just like, but everybody else around her is acting exactly the same and I just don't like it. It gives me the ick. It gives me the literal ick. But that's where we stand. But they've basically now escaped some weird creature things and gone back through the stone. I don't know if I mentioned this yesterday or not, but if it's repetitive, I'm sorry. So they came across, they wanted to go to this inn. Celine didn't want to go to the inn. And I think this got something to do with her magical thing, right? Because I have another suspicion that something that Lorraine and another Aes Sedai were talking about. They mentioned somebody. And I was like, is that her? Could that be her? I don't know. It just seems weird. I didn't want to go to this inn thing, but Rand did. But on the way they came across this big monument thing, it was a hand. And apparently they were digging it up for some reason. And Rand went a bit weird. Like, really weird. With like the power. Sedine, I don't fucking know, I can't remember. He did go a bit weird. So I don't know exactly what that is about. It was interesting. And then obviously they get to the end and everybody's treating Rand like a lord. Like, kind of get the assumption, but it feels a little bit like too heavy-handed for me. Obviously he's a Dragon Reborn, and then so obviously he's going to grow up to be a great man because of the prophecies, but this just seems a little bit much, right? I don't know, I feel like it is a bit much. I'm a bit like hammering over the head of Rand's gonna be a great guy, he's gonna be a great, great person, he's gonna do great things, and I'm like, we already know that. Like, also I call bullshit on it because Rand's a fucking idiot. Like, I've never met a dumber character than Rand. Cannot stand him. I cannot stand Rand. His story is just grating on my nerves, and it's his storyline, which is interesting because he is a Dragon Reborn, so he's meant to be like everything centering like around him. That is making me just want to get, I mean, I don't own the books, but get the books and just burn them because of how fucking boring it is. Everything else I like, just not Rand. He's the only one I'm just like, can we fucking hurry up? I hate it, absolutely hate it. But he's gotten to yeah, they went to the inn. Celine ended up leaving in the morning. Somebody gave him advice on how to fix something with her because they assumed they were a couple, and it's like, what? It's just odd. It's just very odd. Celine left early in the morning and then people looked at him weird. One of the guard people were like, what, she left? And then realized, oh wait, she slipped through, like, because he had the inn on watch. Weird. That was kind of weird. Anyway, they reached this other city place where this game is being played, and I usually like this kind of trope because it's in the first binding by R.R. Verdi, and I really liked it and how it was done there. But in this one, it just seems like a side kind of thing. I'm like, well, why mention it? So already Rand's been like, he fumbles his way through some stuff because he's a fucking idiot. Rand is just declining all these invitations and shit. So I don't know. I don't really know what's happening. It's weird. I'm not gonna lie, it is a bit weird. it just seems, but then he finds Tom Merrilin, which is great because we love Tom, and it seems a bit weird to me that Rand is still denying everything Moiraine said, even though she said that nobody mentioned a dead Lehman when she looked into it. So it's kind of like, well, like, why anyway, again, he's fucking stupid. Tom doesn't want anything to do with him, well, not really Rand, but like the Horn and everything, so which I call bullshit on that. Tom's gonna come back, like, come on, it's Tom Merrilin. And Trollocs come, and then they find Selene again. Selene, who I just, why? I cannot describe something. Every time she's on page, I just get this visceral feeling of, the Trollocs are herding them, Rand and Loyal, and they end up in this illuminary kind of place and stuff, and Rand breaks some shit and fire, I don't know. Selene is like trying to persuade him to do something great. So I'm like, how the fuck do you know he's a Dragon Reborn? Because of course she has to. It's just very suspicious. Very suspicious. I know a spoiler, because I don't really give a shit about spoilers for the series, that something's with Rand, and I have a feeling Selene's part of it, and I just, if she is, I don't even know, I might drop kick my phone into the abyss. I will lose my shit. I didn't mind when we went back to the Aes Sedai with Nynaeve. Nynaeve was cool. She was going through this archway thing and sinning and then became an Ascended. That was kind of cool. That was interesting magic system kind of side of it. And you get to learn a bit more about her as a character because it's her deeper fears, which was kind of fun. Then what was really interesting was it was only a couple of chapters. I think it was only a chapter, but it was the conversation between Moiraine and Lan, how if Moraine's going to die, that she will then has passed her bond with Lan onto somebody else, who may pass it on to somebody else, which probably means, might be Nynaeve. Is Moiraine going to die? I don't know. I don't think she does in the early books, but later on I'm like, does she? Because she's an interesting character. But that, and learning more about the bond between a warder and an Aes Sedai, that was very interesting. That was kind of cool. I like more of that. It's just fucking Rand. It's just Rand. So that's currently where I am at the moment. I don't think I'm going to finish this today. I've now got to quickly run up and drop a letter off for my brother before I have to run to another job, and then I run back and look after some rabbits. So busy day. Have 5% left. So I finished work and got home to look after this little kitty. Meet Lolly. Hello. She's a little rescue I'm looking after while the owners are away, and she is the cutest thing and just wants to sit on you the whole time. But let's talk about, I think I've been calling this book The Dragon Reborn, and it's not The Dragon Reborn, that's book 3, it's The Great Hunt. I don't know why I've got this mixed up. What has happened? Rand met back up with Matt Perrin, which is kind of cool. But then we sort of focused a bit more on the Aes Sedai and Nynaeve and Egwene. And then you have Nynaeve and Egwene, who have been corralled into or persuaded to go after Rand, because apparently Rand kind of did a weird thing with his magic and they lost 4 months or something, but they got where they needed to get to. So I don't really know. I was half paying attention, I'm not going to lie. Yes, hello. They basically escape Tar Valon. Then they are captured, or attempted capture, because they believed, who I assume this Aes Sedai Red Ajar person is Black Ajar. So that's my assumption. Red Ajar comes and talks to Nynaeve and Egwene, but Elaine and Min end up going with them because they overheard and she was not happy about it. But anyway, they end up going through a way gate, and then they are captured by. So then the Aes Sedai become like people who can channel, become like Damani or something like that. I've forgotten who the people who hold the power of, but they have like a bracelet and a collar. So the bracelet goes on the people who are like the masters. It's kind of like slavery, basically. You can't do anything. They can do anything. They can force you to anything. You can't harm the other person. It was uncomfortable reading about that, and I think it was meant to be uncomfortable. So there is that saving grace, like, okay, I'm meant to feel this. Nynaeve wasn't caught. She ran off. So did Elaine, but it was Min and Egwene that were caught. I suffered and suddenly realised, oh shit, I can't do anything. I now got this collar on and all of this, and then Egwene's discovered that she's got a really good epiphany for earth power. So she basically uses that they sort of treat her as like, you're special, that kind of thing, and they sort of use them for stuff. And it's a weird kind of culture thing that's going on, how they just hate everything magic, but there's not meant to. But also with the bracelet thing is, so the masters wear the bracelets. It's not meant to go the other way. So if you can channel, you shouldn't really be able to put it on somebody else who can't. Or like the masters, like if you switch positions, but then Nynaeve manages to do that. So it kind of brings into question, well, what are they trying to say? Are they lying? Are they, are they actually all kind of like, can they all channel to some point? And then they're just lying about if they can, so they don't have the collar on them, or stuff like that. It's all interesting. I do like that aspect of it. I do find some of it it could have been handled better, like some of the language not language, it just, everything about this book at the moment I'm feeling is just clunky, like book 1 and book 2. It's just clunky how it's just told, and it I don't know, I just feel like more effort could have gone into it, but that's just my personal taste. Egwene is trapped and is being forced to use her power, although coincidentally she's learning more doing this than she would in Tar Valon, which kind of says on what Tar Valon are sort of curbing their power to, or what they're willing to teach other people, other Aes Sedai, or people who can channel. They're probably teaching them what they want them to know, and not necessarily the whole aspect of their power, which is interesting. It's interesting. There's kind of politics going on here a little bit. And obviously Nynaeve comes and saves Egwene, basically. They capture Damani and somebody else, the master, which I don't know, I think it begins with an S, but I really cannot remember what it's called. Basically the master person tells Nynaeve everything, because Nynaeve she understands what the collar, and then Nynaeve realizes what she can do, and she's horrified, and she's sickened, and she's all of this, and then they sort of go and get Egwene, and then they get Egwene, like, pretty quickly, to be fair, halfway through that chapter. So I don't know if anything's going to go wrong, what's going to happen and stuff. I know Rand said he could sense Egwene and stuff like this, so there is that happening, because they're also there. So obviously we're coming to the big something's going to happen, but it's like I have 5% left. I'm 95% through, and I'm like, we haven't gotten to the big thing yet. Like, there's an hour and a half left of the audiobook, right, which won't take me that long because I'm using it on Libby, and Libby doesn't seem to take into account when you speed up, so I'm doing it at 2.3 speed. So that's what, under an hour left for me, which I'll finish tomorrow morning and then update everybody, you all. But it just, I don't know, it just doesn't, it feels like there should have been more of a, oh, this is the big bad, than like the coming down from the big bad, right? I don't know if that's just me. I kind of feel like Robert Jordan could have blended these first two books together, and they would have just, I don't know, been more concise and just been better, or plot-wise, or pacing and stuff like this, and all that going on. I know people have beloved series, and it is how it's written, and it's just, this is my personal opinion, but this is kind of what I feel like he could have done. I don't think he needed 10 books to necessarily tell the story, but here we are. It's, I am still enjoying more Nynaeve, everybody else but Rand's story, basically. I'm enjoying where things are going. I do like the idea of like Ba'alzamon rising up. That is a very cool trope that I just like. That's basically it's the trope that's keeping me interested. Is it the story? Is it the trope? But Nynaeve and everything is with Tar Valon, all that going on, that's interesting. The world building and all the different magic systems going on, that's keeping me really, really fascinated. But there are just some things I'm just like, this is still dragging. Like, when I previously read this on Goodreads, it said I rated it 4 stars. I don't know if I'm sitting quite there. for this book, because it feels like it's taking a long time to get to this kind of point, and then Rand being so wishy-washy and whiny all the time and denying everything, which, yeah, you can deny whatever you want, but you don't need to be so wishy-washy. And then it feels very like shoved down my throat that he's a lord, he can rule people, he can command, and it's like, ooh, I don't believe it. I still don't believe it. I still don't believe he can. It feels very out of character for everybody else around him to be like, Rand's a lord, Rand can do this, Rand's the best guy. Like, I just hate it. And I hate the fact that every single woman is always wanting to look at Rand, always wanting to look at, you know, he might be getting changed, and they're like, oh, I think I need to come in. And it's like, no, it gives me this sick feeling. I don't like it. So it has its problems. It is better for its time when you think about when it was written and how many women are in this book, which is very fine. They're not exactly the best written, but they're better than some of the stuff that some fantasy writers write today. I can think of one particular author that, if you ask me in the comments, I will tell you. I'm just not going to verbalize it here because I will go on a rant. It has its pros, it has its cons, you know, as a series. But I am kind of enjoying it. I think I enjoyed Eye of the World more than The Great Hunt. I think The Great Hunt is like a kind of book. So I'm hoping when we get to Dragon Reborn, it'll be kind of interesting. Although my library is saying it's several months for that. So yeah, we might have to wait a time for the next episode in this series to come out. I don't know, I'm surprisingly enjoying myself more, although this book is a bit mainly just because I think it's Rand that's bogging this book down a lot. Like, he's so whiny. Rand is the only one that is really bogging the story down for me. He's the one that's I just don't really give two shits about. Some of the stuff that Robert Jordan is trying to do, it feels like he's trying to do something too quickly. And like, when I was talking to my friend, he did say that Robert Jordan didn't know if he was going to get a more than 3-book deal for this series, okay? So he's trying to rush the whole point of Rand going insane. I don't know if I believe he's going insane or if he's just not wanting to believe what's happening, which is kind of the vibe I'm getting at the moment. He does make a good point, because again, that's part of the magic system. If you're a male, you can channel, you end up going insane because of what Ba'alzamon did. I feel like he could have cut a lot of what's happened here and moved on to more what the meat of the story was in book 3. But they're just my thoughts on it. I'm not loving this one. I'm still invested, but I'm not loving it. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm gonna go eat my dinner, and then tomorrow morning I will probably end up finishing this book. So I'll update you, and then I'll give my final thoughts, and we will see whether or not the ending makes me change my opinion. I was about to say that it's a nice day, except for the fact that it's fucking cold. But I mean, at least the sun is kind of shining. But I have some sweet corn. Let's go feed the chickens. The sun is shining. Hopefully it's going to warm up because I'm cold, and I have 5% left of the Great Hunt. So let's go finish the book. Already it's coming up to be a nice day. I finished it. Okay, I finished it within half hour of work. Did it bring up my expectations? The answer is that is no. I feel so. Let's go through what happened. And what happened was, hello Jack, Captain Guy Inc. somebody, I don't know, I can't remember, turned out to be Dark One apparently. Although for me, I don't believe it, because I don't think Robert Jordan set enough of the groundworks for that. That's Socks, hello. Egwene, Nynaeve and gang try to flee, come across some soldiers, White Cloaks then turning up for some reason. And Egwene has the brilliant idea to blow everything up. which that's when I started to like her. I also started to like her when the master who beat her and tortured her and all that shit, walked in the room, she put the collar on and was beating her. I was like, yes, do that, girl, do it. But I was like, no, you don't want to be like them. I don't know what this says about me, but I'd be like, nah, bitch. I don't care, you can feel what I felt. I'll be all moral after. Obviously Rand and that, and then Rand fights Balazamon because they were going to leave the captain, ink, dark person guy, I don't know, to hold off the men, soldiers and white cloaks and shit on his own, to die so they could flee with the horn. And got stabbed by Balazamon and he stabbed him, and it was very like, Did the ending make me think it was worth reading this book? No, I could tell you that right now. This book just felt like filler. Like, half the time I'm not believing what is actually happening, because it feels like to me that Robert Jordan isn't actually setting any groundworks for me to believe some of this shit. Let's just take Rand and the battle as an example, right? It was over within seconds, and then after, when, this is another point I'm going to put a pin in to come back, Min was there looking after Rand. She found him, and then she was like saying, oh, this happened in the sky, whereas it kind of felt like Robert Jordan, hello Rufus, you're going to behave today? You're going to behave? That doesn't look like a face that says he's going to behave. It felt like Robert Jordan literally just yeah, it felt like Robert Jordan had an idea after he'd written the scene. Instead of going back and layering it in the scene, he decided to just be like, yes, Rufus, we know you're here. He decided to just, hello, just be like, oh, I'll just insert that the battle that he fought with Balazamon was in the sky. And I was like, I just don't believe it. It's stuff like that really makes me think, no. Apparently this battle took place in the sky. And I was like, what? I just did not believe it. I just refused to believe it, because there was no groundworks laid that made me think, oh, this happened. And then it kind of just was over so quickly and stuff. And this also goes back to Rand learning how to use the sword. Robert Jordan goes, Herod marks the blade, and I was like, I don't know what that is, I can't picture what that is, and it just sounds like fancy words that makes you appear like you know what you're doing when you really have no fucking clue. That's kind of what is coming across on the page, and it's just irritating. It's irritating because it doesn't really take that much more effort to layer the groundwork, to layer and show some things where it's like, yeah, okay, cool, I now believe you that you know what you're doing. Another thing that grinds my gears is there's Egwene, because Min referenced something about Rand, how there's going to be another person for Rand, that she likes Rand or loves Rand. That is two other people, her and two other people, and I know the spoiler for this, and I fucking hate it. I don't know who it is, but I fucking hate it. I hate the fact it is the main character. Why the fuck does every woman have to fawn over him? It's just not realistic. It's horrid, and it's like, it's so one-dimensional as well. The characters, like, fuck off. Dwayne improved in this story for me. Nynaeve I did enjoy. Rand I hate. Oh yeah, and Min met who I think is Celine, but is I don't know, I can't remember their name, but somebody really old who said that Lewis Theron, meaning Rand, is meant for her, and apparently that she's meant to look after him until he remembers and shit. So all of this, and then there's something that Moraine did mention at the end, which was like, Rufus, that when he was in this other city and they were playing the game, Rand's like, I didn't play it, which he didn't. I was like, yeah, but you're like the pebble that starts the avalanche, that kind of, and I don't believe that shit. He did not do anything to even insinuate that. And I was just like, this is what I mean by groundwork. Rufus, come on. By groundwork. when you're, you know, going through a story. Let's say Rand did something, right? He walked into a room and all of a sudden he caused or stopped something, and then people start blaming him, and it's like a ball roll effect, okay? That I believe. It didn't even do that. It did fuck all. Absolutely fuck all. And it just makes everything not believable. It doesn't take that much effort, and that's literally what it is. I don't know if this is because my writer brain's talking at the moment, but it's like all you have to do is go back and just add a little couple of lines or insinuate a couple of things which makes the reader then believe, oh yeah, this happened, this was true. Oh my god, I just got approved for the trading card. Holy fucking shit, man. I was literally on my Instagram story begging the publisher, I just got fucking approved. Bitch, I'm gonna read this right now. Anyway, just go back to Wheel of Time. Oh, that's made my day after this shit book. Dude, mate, calm down. This book was middling, it felt very filler. I think most of it could have been cut and probably put into book one, not gonna lie, and it wouldn't have taken that much effort. So that is kind of my thoughts on book 2 of Wheel of Time. The Great Hunt. It's not Dragon Reborn. Fucking hell. Don't know when I'm going to get to Dragon Reborn. I'm waiting on my library. I am still vaguely interested. Oh, yeah. I was still interested in like how everything's going to come about. I just feel everything, especially like the ending, it's sort of like Jordan didn't have a direction in this book. He just kind of meandered and then went, oh, I need to now end it because it's got really long. And then the ending was like a percent of the book. And it's like, well, that doesn't seem right, especially with pacing. Kind of like, you weren't really building up to everything. You sort of insinuated some things and then didn't build up, and then it kind of just went, huh? It just flopped. So, but I'm still kind of enjoying it, even if I'm ranting about these books a lot. I'm enjoying ranting about them. Because I don't know. I'm going to get through. I'm going to at least try and get to book 5 before I decide whether or not if I DNF the series again or continue on. I might just go voice message my friend ranting even more about this book. And he'll probably be like, yeah, but. And I'd be like, bitch, don't believe that shit. But those are my thoughts on The Dragon, no, The Great Hunt. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. And do you agree? Do you disagree with me? Have you enjoyed this? Let me know, and I will see you in the next one.